What's up, Kings? Welcome to another edition of Outside the Field with your co-stars, myself, Jacob, and my brother to the other screen, Chris. We're here each and every week to give you guys advice on how to best win your leagues and help win your matchups each given week. We got a very interesting podcast for you today, and I hope you guys are interested.
Yeah. Jacob, week two. How you feeling? You enjoy sitting down watching some more games? Because luckily, or unluckily, I should say, I guys have to work all day Sunday, so I never get to sit down and watch games. But I sit down all day Monday, Tuesday, just plugging away, rewatching what I can, chugging through the stats for you guys, so I can come on here and tell you who to have. But sadly, I don't get to watch a whole lot.
This is why you guys have to trust me and not Chris.
what,
No, joking
what
aside, though,
was your
Chris,
what was your
Chris
favorite
is
game
one
of
of
the
the
weekend?
most. What was that?
Favorite game of the weekend.
Oh man, I mean, how could you not love watching the Chiefs lose to the Ravens? If you're not a Chiefs fan, it was so sad for me. Chris, obviously a Chiefs fan too. It was very sad. Something I don't think that Lamar and the Ravens won. I just feel like the Chiefs got bored and they lost the game.
Chiefs got
Simply
bored.
put.
Jacob's
We'll,
favorite
we'll
line
we'll
from the
get more
weekend.
into that. We'll get more into that into this video and stuff. But honestly, coming out of the weekend, I feel great. For my 5 leagues that I'm in, I'm 9-1 right now, so I'm feeling pretty positive with the start of my teams. And I think that we got some great advice to help you guys go get another dub this weekend. I think this week we're going to start with lessons that we learned week 2 and who should we trust and who do we have question marks about. Chris, do you want to get this started with some of the guys you got some question marks about?
Yeah, I think these are three guys coming into the season situation and like included in everything. I think these are three guys we had a lot of faith in, and so it's a couple that I'm having some questions about. And those really start with James Robinson and Saquon Barkley. Um, I think we all very much remember Saquon Barkley from 2018 and 19 when he was that top five guy you knew you could always have faith in. But these first 2 weeks, we had sub 10 performances. So, I mean, a 4 and a 9, that's not good. And it's not like he's the only weapon on that offense anymore. So I think that you can continue to watch him struggle. I mean, he's only getting about 15 touches a game. So I need more for you to be that top 10 guy. You need to be at probably above 20. So it's someone I'm worrying about. And another James Robinson, big time worries. He did get the increase in the workload, which was good to see this week. But that offense, honestly, with Trevor Lawrence right now, just looks very, very bad. The offensive line isn't giving them any help. Trevor Lawrence is throwing the ball away and giving possessions away. And that's very important. The less possessions you have, possessions, the less opportunity you have as a player. So, I mean, how are you feeling about these two right now, Jacob, before I get into my third?
For those two, I agree with you for the most part. Saquon, from like a dynasty standpoint, I would hold on. Like I do think there are better days. I just don't see it this season. I do think I have 3 guys that I have projected to be so-called busts from their ADP in the first round. I've said it from the start. It's Saquon, Zeke, and Aaron Jones. I'm sticking to my guns on Saquon, Zeke. Aaron Jones, I'm not ready to admit I'm wrong yet, but we'll give it another few weeks, and if I'm wrong, I'll admit it right here to all of you guys. But those are my 3. I think that from their ADP this year, I don't like it, and I think that they're gonna be best. You always see a few in the first round. So Saquon, I'm off this year. I think he'll be back next year. Usually, you see like a positive outlook that second year coming back from an ACL injury. That with how poor the Giants' offense really is, I think that this is the year that they're going to really finally evaluate Daniel Jones, find out that he's not the guy, and possibly go draft himself a better quarterback, which could explode this offense because I really think they're just missing that quarterback. What do you think
The,
about that?
the last thing I want to ask you before I move on to this third guy, Saquon Barkley this year, right now in redraft? Are we buying or are we selling? Are you going to try to buy him when his stock's real low, or are you going to try to sell him that name value as quickly as possible?
If I have him, I'm not selling him as low as he is right now. Even though I think he is a bust, like that's name value. You can get a lot for him just after 1 week because people are going to be like, oh, he's back, when he's not going to be this year. The one positive outlook I see for him is that over the first week to the second week, he did get more carries, he did get more targets, he got a better percentage played on the field. So that is a good outlook for him, but I still don't see your 2019 league winner type player from him this year at least. So as soon as he goes off for a 15 plus game, if you have him, sell him as high as you can. That is my advice to you on that. James Robinson, on the same page with you there, Chris. Don't think he's got it this year. Different head coach. Not a fan. They went and drafted his replacement first before even getting into training camp. Obviously, he's hurt, but I don't see James Robinson having a good year with the way that offense is playing. So, very good takes on those.
All right, man. So, what was the top thing you think you want to really discuss coming out the weekend?
The Bucks offense, man. What is going on? Like,
What's going
who
on?
you?
I'm seeing great things.
Yeah, I'm seeing great things, but it's very hard from like a fantasy football manager to find out who is the guy there. My first question to you is: Are we too low on Brady right now? This guy is putting up like top three, top four numbers. Like, what do you
Um,
think?
so first and foremost, I don't think you're ever gonna find a guy out of this offense. I don't. I mean, I think Leonard Fournette kind of establishing himself between the two running backs, but I don't think either is one I'm gonna have a lot of faith in week to week. The receivers, from like that point of view, I think you can trust Godwin. Because of the tight end landscape, I think you have to trust Gronkowski and keep rolling him out there comfortably. Their connection right now honestly looks incredible. And then outside of the receivers, I mean, it's Godwin and then AB and Mike Evans. Just count your blessings when you get a good week. But I mean, I think more times than not, you're gonna just want to roll them out there and kind of hope you get that good week. Honestly, as for Tom Brady, man, I personally kind of feel like I have him in a spot I feel really good about. I currently have him at quarterback 8, where you have him at quarterback 6. Um, the reason I just have him a little lower is right now he has thrown 9 touchdowns, and it's kind of the way he's making his money. But he doesn't have a lot of rushing upside, actually zero. So I mean, even last year with 4,600 yards and 40 touchdowns, he still only got to like a QB 6 or 7 finish. So it's really hard for him to hit that high without putting up insane numbers, and he's not going to throw 72 touchdowns like he's on pace for right now. So I think honestly, this is something we'll talk about later in the week. But if I could offload him to somebody who's kind of thinking that right now, I think that's the deal I might be looking for.
I actually agree with you completely. I do think we're a little low on Brady, but not by much. Like, I think my ranking 6 right there is like you said last year, he finished right around 7 or 8. Like, I see the same thing. Like, if you're in a two QB league dynasty, like, and if you're going all out this year, I think Brady's a great target. Like, I think he's going to put up great numbers for the rest of the year. I think you're right on the money too with the receiver workload. Last week we talked about how it was Godwin, Brown, then Gronk, and Evans. I'm actually going to switch it up a little bit. I think you're right. Godwin is. I think he's a lock in each week. I think he's the top receiver option. But I think Gronk is that number 2. Gronk full season, we all know, last season due to COVID they weren't able to have a full training camp. Gronk wasn't able to get into the groove of things right off the bat. Had to have an injury to a fellow tight end on his team to really get things going. And I think we're seeing, hey, a full season under his belt back into the league. That Tom Brady and Gronk connection is as strong as ever. And I think Gronk is clearly the number 2, especially in the red zone. He's going to be getting all the looks. Then right when you were right what you said about Evans and Brown. Like, it's kind of like a flip flop. I would trust Brown more than Evans just because I see Evans as a boom or bust guy. I don't see his production each and every week like we saw last week, but I see more out of Brown going forward. I just think last week was kind of an anomaly.
Yeah, and I think Gronkowski, like, I mean, I personally this week have him up at tight end 4. I'm all in, I kind of do think he's going to finish above Kittle right now. Kittle has his own struggles, and Gronkowski and Tom Brady are on fire. I mean, Gronkowski's touchdowns are going to come down. You know, you could very well see him hit a bunch of weeks of zeros and ones from here on out. But I mean, I think ultimately we know that Tom Brady feels comfortable with Rob Gronkowski, and he's going to keep feeding him the ball as long as he makes plays. So I would keep looking at that all season and have faith there.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but going over to another group of really talented pass catchers, I want to talk about. I want to talk to you about the Titans receivers. How and we'll kind of put Ryan Tannehill in that group. How are we feeling about those three right now?
We gotta expect more. I mean, they went and got Julio, um, and I mean Ryan Tannehill has finished in top 10. I think it's top 5 actually.
I'm pretty sure it was 7 and 8. His two. Here, I'll look it up.
Well, no,
Wait.
just like his efficiency,
Oh no, he's been like
how well.
the most efficient dude for like the last 2 years, and
So
that's why I was always
I was
like,
being a
why
little
do you
generous.
hate Ryan
He's been
Tannehill?
like the top 2, top 3, I think. But I mean, he's got to get it together. I don't think the offensive line is very good right now,
No,
and I
not
think
at
that's kind
all.
of where their struggles are at. But I mean, you got to get some help from your stud receivers. I think AJ Brown, he's had, I think I saw like a 46% catch rate right now,
No, it's
something like that.
lower. It's way lower.
Yeah,
I
so
was gonna talk about that.
you're not going to get that catch rate from somebody like AJ Brown as consistently as you've been seeing. He's gonna sooner or later he's going to burst out of the scene. He's getting the targets. That's what you want to see. Honestly, somebody else going to suggest later in our next episode in trade talks, but this is a guy you want to go acquire right now. Like I think AJ Brown is just waiting to feast. He's getting the target still, and I mean, I as bad as it's been, I think you stick with it, and I think you'll be rewarded long term with the Titans pass catchers.
Julio, he had a good day. You know, 6 for 120 yards. I think 8 targets. But I mean, AJ Brown has been the most targeted guy there the first 2 weeks, and he's 9 for 3 and 8 for 3. So, like you said, it's terrible catch rate. That's going to go up. I mean, he's an explosive, incredible player, very talented. So, I think that is someone you need to just get on your team and have faith in. You know, the rough days will pass. I mean, we saw last week rough days for Calvin Ridley, and he had a nice bounce back even with some rough quarterback play. So I'd have faith in those two going forward. I have Julio like back end receiver 2, and I still have AJ Brown back end receiver 1. So I feel good about those guys. Ryan Tannehill, I am starting to have my worries about. It's starting to look without Arthur Bryant that he might not have it necessarily together. But what's weird is Matt Ryan doesn't have it together under Arthur Bryant. So I think he just needs to go back personally. But not going forward, man. Derrick Henry just keeps showing us that he is just an unhuman player. 180 yards, 3 touchdowns, and this is what I was saying is Derrick Henry. You know, I have him at running back 4 still. He's going to be that guy. He's going to have some just absolutely like you. The rest of your roster could have sucked this week, honestly, and you could have still pulled out a win just off Derrick Henry's performance. And he'll give you a few of those, and you have to understand that he's going to have some down weeks, and just keep rolling out Derrick Henry, and he will reward you as the king.
So here's my question to you. I actually agree with you. I think the Titans O line is pretty atrocious right now.
It really
But yet,
is.
Derrick Henry is slugging away 180 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like that's crazy. I'm about to roll out a question to you, and I want you to take it seriously. But who is the king right now? Is it Christian McCaffrey, who yes he was hurt last year, but before that put up probably the best numbers by a running back we've seen to date, or is it King Henry?
So I mean, obviously, I think here personally, in any PPR format, it's still very. I'm trying to pull it up right now, but in any PPR format, you have to have Christian McCaffrey as that RB1. I don't think there is a better running back in like fantasy football right now. I mean, even this week, he still gave you 25, so 28 and 25. His floor with his reception target is completely unreal. In standard leagues, I think it's still really, really close. In standard, I honestly might give the slight lead to Derrick Henry. But in any PPR format, you need to have Christian McCaffrey over him, just because Derrick Henry doesn't have that same floor ceiling or reception floor, and without those targets, like an off week for Christian McCaffrey is going to be 18 or 20 because he caught 9 balls. or an off week for Derrick Henry, who only runs for 60 yards, no touchdowns, just 6 points. So because of that floor, Christian McCaffrey has to be that guy, and Henry probably has just slightly more upside.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. It's a question that like, hey, like after a week like we just saw, you got to ask it. But at
Yeah,
the end of the
totally.
day, most NFL fantasy football is set up in some type of PPR nowadays. If you're still in a standard, good for you. It's time to get out of the dinosaur age though. But uh, Christian McCaffrey, without a doubt, like he's gonna get you. He's gonna have an explosive game like that. He is. But he's getting you a floor of 25 points a game. Like you can't ask for better than that. That's some of these running backs' best weeks. So I do agree with you. I do think Christian McCaffrey with health, when healthy, is the king right now. But if Derrick Henry keeps this up, man, I was somebody actually coming into the season. I was kind of off Derrick Henry. I thought after a 2,000-yard season he'd regress a little bit. But we are talking about the only man alive to rush for 2,000 yards in high school, college, and the NFL. So I don't know what this dude is drinking, but I
I
want some of that. So
I think he's a more fun player to watch. And speaking of,
yeah, for sure.
did you see the Najee Harris stiff arm from this weekend, dude?
God, yes, he
He
said, "Get off me,
he
bro."
literally threw a 200-pound man just around like he was a baby, and it's what I'm here for. It's why we watch the NFL. Real quickly, because it's a player we talk about a lot. Justin Herbert has another down week. He's only giving you 13 and 17 in standard QB scoring so far. Are we gonna keep trusting that? I mean, he had a pretty nice Dallas matchup this week. Last week we threw up to Washington football team. So, I mean, another weekend, and how are we feeling about? He's thrown one pick and two picks so far, and it was a concern coming out of college, and it wasn't a big one last year. So, are we just kind of a little worried?
I'm a little worried about my claim of him potentially going for an MVP type season. That's what I'm worried about. But
I would
no,
be.
if I'm a Herbert owner, I'm keeping him on my team. Talent wise, he's got to be a top 6, 7 talent QB there. I think he figures it out. I think he just needs. He's having a few rough games to get it going. The offense is too explosive. He's got a great defense, so he's going to have a lot of opportunities on offense. Great running back, great receivers. He's got to figure out sooner or later. Keep trusting, because the Chargers have nothing but faith in Justin Herbert, and they're going to put the ball in his hands. So I do think that overall, it's somebody that you can have faith in, and he'll bounce back sooner or later.
Okay, and then a couple of young receivers here starting to stick out. I mean, they were kind of further down the depth chart. KJ Osborne and Rondale Moore kind of coming up and making a big impact this weekend. What do you think about these two players? Are either of them players you want on your roster, or players you're thinking about playing? I mean, how are we feeling right now?
Moore is potentially interesting. I could see him coming into a receiver two type player this year, especially if the offense just stays the way it is. Like Kyler Murray is slinging that thing, and honestly, it's so much fun to see. Only thing I'm a little worried about is last year Kyler Murray started off exactly like this, got hurt. So we're just hoping he can stay healthy. Moore's got a lot of potential. If you're in dynasty leagues, this is somebody I would probably spend all of my free agent bidding on if he was available in your leagues. If
Low
he's not,
chance.
yeah, if he's not, which he's probably not going to be, go try to trade for him. This is probably as low as he's going to get. Other receivers are older. KJ Osborne, I'm not really on right now, just because I do think Adam Thielen's still got a few more years in him. By the time he's retired or gone, I don't think Osborne is going to be the guy there. So
But
that's just my opinion. Chris, what do you think about these? I know you love some more right now.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I have a league I'm pretty actively tanking, and I made a pretty aggressive bid to go get out and get Rondale Moore, just because, like Crabtree said, I don't think his price is gonna go down. I wanted to get on that while I could, and I mean, D Hop's there now, so I think this year, receiver two, if
29
Kyle,
too.
yeah, yeah, 29. So he's pretty old. And I'm pretty sure this is the last year on his current contract, or he has one more year. Um, but so I think Dynasty long term, Rondale Moore, if he can develop as a route runner, can be a spectacular player. He's explosive with the ball in his hands, exactly what you'd want to see. Um, So even in redraft right now, I think he can still have a good year for you with Kyler. He just might be a little bit more up and down.
Yeah, I could definitely keep him on the bench for sure.
KJ Osborne, listen, he's not a player I'm going to tell you that is super sexy. I'm not going to tell you he's a league winner here for you. But what I am going to tell you is the Vikings very much like to have a condensed target share. And there's no Irv Smith, and they honestly haven't got Dalvin Cook that involved in the pass offense. So I wonder if it's they're trying to maybe preserve him a little bit here and just kind of use him for his rushing upside. But I mean, Osborne through the first 2 weeks, he got 9 targets. He went 9 for 7, 76 his week 1, and 6 for 5 and 91 in a touchdown week 2. So I mean, he's getting pretty consistent volume right now. So I think he's a player who could potentially, sit on the bottom of your roster and be a flex play when you need him to. And Kirk Cousins is also cooking right now, man. Kirk is having a good year so far, and he seems to really like Osborne as his downfield presence. So, I mean, I would maybe stash him and see if this keeps going on, and if he keeps getting the volume, he could be like your Russell Gage from last year.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, Crabtree. What else did we want to talk about today? You got some running backs you want to talk to me about?
Oh man.
As
So
Chiefs fans, I feel like it's only fair.
Yeah, I got 3 fringe running backs that we need to talk about and where our faith is with these guys. Let's start off with Clyde. Chris,
Come
where are
on.
we at with Clyde?
I was pretty angry the other night, guys. I didn't mean it, but I went in the group chat and told him to drop Clyde just because he disappointed me. But
Don't drop Clyde.
no, please don't drop. I was talking about
This
the
is why I'm
Chiefs.
9-1 and he's not.
Don't actually drop
Oh.
Clyde, but we're very angry at Clyde for costing us this game. I'm going to give him some blame, play calling some blame, and the defense some blame. But, okay, as a fantasy player, seriously, right now, he's not a player I have a lot of faith in, but you probably did draft him in a spot where you need to start him in that RB2 flex spot. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm kind of worried. So, I mean, if you can find somebody who has faith still because he does play for the Chiefs, I might try to offload real quick. But, I mean, he's not giving you very good production. The Chiefs, kind of like the Bills and kind of like the Cardinals, just show you that they're going to play through the passing game. And that's where their points are going to go, guys. So if Clyde gives you 5 next week, I mean, I would not be shocked again.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with you. Clyde is the numbers he's putting up. Any Chiefs starting running back could give you those numbers. Anybody. They're not involving him much in the passing game, which I'm really surprised about. And it doesn't look like they're going to change anytime soon. Clyde is not the type of guy that's going to run through a barrier either and get that extra yard or 2. They're going to do some type of trick play to where they're like in shotgun and going to do like a little toss in front to where a running back goes by or a receiver goes by. That's the type of offense they have. And I don't see Clyde getting you phenomenal numbers this year. This is somebody that I'm with Chris. Sell as soon as you can, because even if he goes down, you're going to get the exact same, if not better, production out of Darrell Williams because he's a better pass catching back. Yeah,
we both have him down at
that,
running back 21. So we have.
I think I have him pretty much the exact as you.
Yeah, we've been moving him down and down.
Yeah. This is somebody that is very much on that borderline RB2 right now. And honestly, if it keeps going the way it's going and he loses confidence after this game, which I would not be surprised about at all, this is somebody I'm going to start thinking about whether he's deserving of my flex spot or whether or not my RB2 spot. So somebody I'd probably still start just because he's on the Chiefs team. And like that's the upside is just phenomenal there. But something I'm seriously starting to consider.
And then 2 other running backs that we were thinking about were Chase Edmonds and Damien Harris. They're kind of also at the back half of that RB2 space right now. Let me see if I can get you their ECR real quick, guys. Damien Harris is currently at ECR 20 and Chase Edmonds is 26. So I think these are 2 players you can keep rolling out and feeling good about. They're both seeing, Chase Edmonds is seeing about 15 touches a week, and probably 2 or a third of that is coming from the pass game. So in a PPR format, he's going to have a really good floor. I think these are both really good players that are very talented and can succeed with their limited opportunity. So I would look for them. I mean, they're not going to give you big games, but they're going to be that consistent 10 to 15 floor. So I mean, in an RB2 spot, if you have some injuries or during bye weeks, I mean, I think these are really solid players you could put in your lineup and just kind of leave them there and know that they'll give you some sort of points. And they're probably not going to be all that expensive. So if you're pretty lacking in the running back department, I'd maybe look their way. And I mean, Damien Harris with Mac Jones, rookie quarterback, Bill Belichick offense. I think they're just going to play through the running back game, and Damien Harris is going to see the bulk of that rushing attack.
I like the Damien Harris pick there. I'm not on the Edmonds board yet, or on the Edmonds train yet.
But
I'd
like
like to see enough. Well, the only reason I'm not is because I'd like to see a little bit better like play, like from like, hey, the Cardinals aren't up a lot or scoring a bunch of points. I want to see like a slower pace game to see like because they're not the Cardinals. I'm sorry, but they can't keep up this pace. Do I think they're going to have a very good offense and be one of the top ones? Yes, but I just don't see the pace that they're continuing to do.
yeah, but
So that's why I
James
want to see a little
Conner,
bit more.
James Conner is one dirty look away from ending up on the IR. Okay.
No, I agree, but I want to see more from Edmonds on a slower pace game before I'm ready to commit to him like as an RB2 fringe. I still think he's like a stream type running back for me. I like Damien Harris a lot more than I like Edmonds. That's just me personally. I think this is like the 1 year that New England actually has like their running back situation figured out. Like James White is going to be the pass catcher and Damien Harris is running the ball. Like I think that's a lock. So
I
this is
think
the
James
1 year.
White also fits in this category where, he's not a sexy pick, but he's someone you could put in there and feel good about just because of his PPR floor.
Right, last topic we got for you guys, and I'm actually ready to debate this with Chris.
Oh God, guys.
I have, like I said at the beginning of this, I am not on this train, but Zeke or Pollard, man, who is the best Dallas running back to have and why?
All right,
Chris,
so
I'll let you start this off.
neither of us have Tony Pollard in the top 30. I
Mm.
currently have Ezekiel Elliott at running back 9. Mr. Crabtree has him at running back 17. So that has us combined at 13 against the ECR of 7. So if you compare me to ECR, even I'm a little slightly down. I will not lie. I am slightly worried about Tony Pollard. He's getting an involvement, so that's very clear. It kind of seems like they predominantly want to use him as the pass catching back. And I think they just potentially want to save Zeke here a little bit and kind of use him as a yin and yang system. That being said, Zeke's going to be your red zone guy. He's going to get all those scoring opportunities that Pollard potentially won't. And I do think that Zeke still gets some passing involvement. I mean, maybe not what Tony Pollard is, but I could still see him seeing like a 2 to 4 a week. So Zeke's still a top 10 guy. I'm not feeling super great about it on it, but I think he's going to be right there at the back end. It's going to be a high scoring offense despite what we saw this week. So, I mean, I would still have a lot of faith that he's going to be able to run them the ball enough and put up enough touchdowns to remain relevant.
Here's the correct answer.
No, there is no correct. You're wrong. You're wrong.
None of the Dallas running backs. And here's why. Because this is a passing offense. It's clear and simple. Last game was 1 in a million. Well, not 1 in a million, but it's not going to happen very often. And if we're going to get technical with it, Tony Pollard out-touched Zeke last game. I think he had 13 carries.
I'm pretty sure he did.
14 or 15 carries, but Pollard had 3 targets.
No, Pollard had like 6, bro.
You said who did?
Pollard? I'm about to look it up. So I'm like,
maybe 3 catches. But anyways, moral of the story: Pollard touched Zeke last game, and that's not a
you're right,
coincidence.
3.
Pollard is taking all the catching away. He's going to be the passing running back in that offense. Zeke is only going to be used when they're up big, which won't be a lot because the Dallas defense is not good. So, I will say though, I was pleasantly surprised by Dallas's defense last game. Their cornerback, I think his last name's Diggs. He's legit. He's good. Anyways,
Pollard had 3 receptions to Zeke's 2. And this is honestly something I'm starting to think. I don't think Dallas's defense is as bad as they were last year. I mean, you gave up 29 to the Buccaneers, one of the best offenses, and then you turn around and hold the Chargers to 17. So, I mean, I think this could potentially be a better defensive unit than we remember them as.
I would agree with that comment because I did like the way the Dallas defense played. I thought they looked pretty good, and I'm hoping so because I'm really rooting for my Justin Herbert as a Chiefs fan. I know that's kind of like ugh, but I did call this guy at the beginning of the season going for an MVP type season. I kind of hope it comes true. But yeah, back to the Dallas running backs. I wouldn't keep any of them. If you're gonna keep one dynasty wise, I'm keeping Pollard.
So
I'm
what do you mean
trading
by
Zeke.
not you're trading Zeke?
I'm trading Zeke as soon as he has a good game. I'm trading him as high as I
He
can.
just dropped 18.
Trade him, trade him. This is probably as high as he's going to get, and that's not a cap.
That's
So
a fat cap.
no,
Guys, he's
no.
going to end our video with a fat cap. This is disgraceful.
The so-called best running back on Dallas's team was outtouched on a game that they won pretty, or it was close.
It was a
On a
battle.
close game, Zeke was outtouched. That's even more worrisome for me. But no, correct answer, none of them. None of them. Go get the pass catchers.
We'll see. We'll see as the season unfolds, but that's kind of what we learned from week 2, guys. Some of the big things that were really sticking in our brains, and we wanted to bring to you guys' attention. So thanks for coming out and watching another video, guys. We really appreciate everyone getting on here and watching. I know Crabtree has some terrible opinions sometimes, but sometimes he speaks some sense, and I always have great options for you guys to look into. That was my beautiful girlfriend. But thank you guys for watching another episode. Make sure to like and subscribe. That really helps us out as we're growing up the channel. And catch us back tomorrow for the waiver wire edition. Crouchy, send us out, man.
All right, guys. Remember, 9-1. This guy's not one to give you his record. Follow my advice. No, I'm just joking. Follow our advice if you're wanting to win your matchups. Let's get it, guys.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.